Oh, thank you. Do you think you could get the rotating thing out of the
And out of it?
picture?
Okay, so you don't
Yeah,
get some kind of a,
I have a neurological thing when
yeah,
things are
yeah, it's like a
strobing.
disco light. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm in this little room. It's very hot. We have a uh, our house is set up so that the sun will come in and heat it in the winter. So we have ceramic floors that will absorb the heat.
Ooh.
And on
Oh,
a sunny
yeah.
day, we have the entire wall here is windows, letting the sun come in. And on a sunny day, if I close the door, it gets like a little oven in here because the
Oh,
ceramics just heat up. So I've closed all the shades. I'm still hot.
Oh
where
man,
do you
yeah.
live?
We live
Where?
near St. Louis in Edwardsville, Illinois.
Oh, you're Edwardsville.
Yeah.
I'm an Illinois person too. So,
Yeah, so we've got all our solar panels, plus we set up our house so that it'd be more efficient with the geothermal and stuff.
oh, that's impressive.
Awesome. Well, if anybody came with questions in hand or in mind already, we can start off with those for sure.
Well, I had a question because I spent like an hour and a half trying to upload a image last Friday night,
Mm.
and it just kept giving me errors, and then it was better in the morning. Is there something that you do on Friday nights for for updates or something that makes that fail?
We do perform updates overnight. There isn't always a set day that they happen. They're just happening regularly, intermittently, as far as whenever we can make them happen. We do reserve those to be done at night. So that may have been the reason for the error this weekend. We are usually making these kind of updates at night, so it's not common to see errors. Yeah, it was definitely something different this time, but we had our tech team jumping on it to make sure that it wasn't anything that was going to be permanent. It looked like it was just based on the implementation of the security updates, just having to do with them installing them. Now that the security updates are in place, it doesn't seem to be that the error is still being caused.
Were other people having that problem?
We did see a couple of other people pop up with a similar issue, and I think the time for the time base that everybody was reporting around, it was all within this weekend.
What was
Is
the
it?
issue?
Well,
There
I
were,
couldn't. Oh, go
yeah,
on.
some users were getting an error when it came to the file upload.
Oh,
Yeah, it just was coming up
but
as.
people weren't, the public wasn't seeing that.
That's right. Yeah,
Okay.
it was just a webmaster.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
affecting the webmasters.
Except that well, it'd be nice if there was some place we could go to see the status, if there that something's happening. So because I kept thinking, oh, there's something wrong with my
Understandable.
file, and I kept trying a ping. I'll try to JPEG.
Right.
Is there some way we could have a status?
Um, Definitely. I can make sure, see if we can get more information. I don't know how quickly we can always get that information from our tech team to be able to update in real time on what is being done. But we definitely can, if there's anytime any larger updates are being done, we'll always push forth information to the team. It usually is done through the Google group. So making or being able to check for real-time updates is a little difficult because it's just an email group.
But if I were having problems, that is one place I would go to say, hey, this is a no.
Yeah, and then we have somebody on the team to respond and
Or
try
to
to
even
mitigate.
put a note out, say, hey, we know there's an issue, hang on, just so
Yeah.
she knows it's not her. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely true. I think that this instance, we would have, I think it was just a matter of not jumping in and responding as quickly as we could have. Because it was a weekend thing, it definitely is harder for us to get in there. But we try to have at least somebody on our team peeking into the group on the weekends.
I have an organizational question.
Mhm.
Right now, we're like in Illinois, as Liz, if Liz is in Illinois, she knows this, we're doing a lot about fair tax. So there's a page on every Illinois Milo site that's fair tax, and it's got, some of them have the same stuff on it, you know, same links. So
Mhm.
everybody right now is having to download these files to their Google Drive and then load them into the Milo thing. And I saw a tutorial somewhere that said that if we had a central Google Drive somewhere that we could pull from, that we could, everybody in Illinois could pull the same file. So if those files were modified in any way, or, you know, a new one was, maybe even if a new one came up, if you had it attached to that path, you would get whatever that drive had on it.
Mhm.
So is there somebody in each state that runs the state Milo page?
Do we
There
even
is,
have a state Milo page?
Yeah, we have a state Milo page.
It's Milo?
We don't.
there are some
I
states
think
have
so.
just a shell site. Like, let's see, Alabama might be a good example of that. So the state site in Milo must exist so that the local leagues within it can have a site. Um, so when we must create the site, we just add that very simple information, and then there's no other Milo content associated with
Look,
this
look up
shell site.
Illinois, since we've
Okay.
got 2 Illinois people here.
'Cause I didn't think they used Milo.
I think they might be in the same situation. They are just a shell site, so they do show up like if you're trying to subscribe to local leagues content, or if you are anywhere else that a league's name is listed, Illinois will pop up as an option, but there won't be any content associated with it.
Okay.
I mean, we were hoping they would implement it in Milo because there are things we could do.
Right. Yeah.
But they seem to be going a different direction. Have you? I mean, have you heard anything more from them?
No, I
We
was
haven't,
talking,
as far as our office. Oh, go ahead.
I was just talking to Jean Pierce yesterday, and you know, she was saying the same thing. She's got all these huge files, and all of us have these huge video files, you know, for all this stuff, and we each one have it. And it was just be, she was asking me, is there any, if we could figure out how to do that, that would be wonderful. Then we could free up some of the space on each individual Google Drive.
Yeah, that makes
So
good
I thought I'd
sense.
ask that today, just to see if there was any way to do that. But if we don't have a central page that somebody's running, we can't do it.
Well, it would be a matter of having a central Gmail address that someone would run, similar to how we were talking about the Google Analytics. As long as you have a Gmail address that you're associating with that Google Drive, then that's all it takes. So even if it was not at the state level, you could create a separate Gmail address if you wanted it to serve that purpose, for it being, you know, a one-stop shop for local leagues across your state.
I think there are some resources like that, but somehow it hasn't trickled down. I haven't. I don't feel like I've, I'm taking advantage of everything that exists, but I think there are some of those. But even if well, it's hard to coordinate. But if we were searching the Milo graphics, you know, the media library, it
Mhm.
could be that it's already up there in a way that we could access. Is is that possible? I mean, because some of those things, when you
It
go
is.
to the media library, look like they're not particular to us where we store them.
I see. Yes. Yeah, it is all just a matter of how they originally uploaded the file. But usually because the setting is already by default to yes, show in the media library. Let's see this one. For it to display in the media library, that means that everyone will see it. So like you're saying, Liz, it might not be particular to you, but it might be an off chance where another Illinois league uploaded that same document. So if that's the case, you can search by the file name or the description, and any of these specified things here. The file name or the description will be the most helpful because it will narrow down your search the best. The only downside is that you would have to have an idea of what was used for the name or the description. So being in communication with that webmaster would be helpful, or you could go through the upload of uploading a separate version of it.
You know, there's probably a lot of duplication, but I don't have any video files I've uploaded for Fairtax. I think they're already on YouTube or someplace else. I haven't had to.
Right, you're probably right, yeah.
And as far as if you have them on YouTube, you can easily get them into the media library. All you need to use is the YouTube URL. So we have, whoops, and I actually chose the wrong button there. By default, the upload options come up, and that's where we're able to choose the file from our computer. But we can use the web tab instead. And that's where we can add in the YouTube URL. Just going to use one that I had previously. It will fill in the name just by taking it from the YouTube video name. And because I've filled this one out previously, it looks like it saved this information, but anything else that you needed to fill out. But that is another way to use the YouTube video in your site without having to embed it. I don't know if it's worth going over how to embed as the alternative, but if you've ever seen the embed code option here or third-party embed code, that's yet another way to post up a YouTube video on your site.
Does that mean that maybe you wouldn't have ads?
You would still have ads. It would be subject to pretty much the same experience, like as if you were watching it on YouTube.
But I did learn, Mary Jo, what it meant when you right click just now on the YouTube, and because that's how I copy where it says of current time. You know, I always wondered what that meant, and then I was looking at something. So you only want 25 minutes of a long video. Apparently, what would you do? You'd click there, and that would be the beginning of it.
What you would want is to start the video and have it, let's say we want to send this video to viewers starting at the 15-second mark. We take it right to that point and right click at that point. So wherever the video is paused at, that's going to be the starting point at which the URL will start at. So I copied that URL at that current time. So let's paste and go to that in this window. Okay, so it is starting at, it started off at 15 seconds.
Yeah,
So
I always wondered what that
awesome.
meant. And I was always hoping that I was clicking the right URL, but it always works. So I figured I was. So
how do you end it?
That is just ending with the natural end of the video. So the only thing that changes is where you made the starting point.
Can you do an ending point? I wonder.
No, she said. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and people will just stop it on their own then. Okay.
But that is really a good one if, like you said, if it's a really long video and you just wanted to point out one specific spot, you can use it that way.
I
Can you
think
go
our
back?
people did it by mistake because we were given a video for all of us to put up on our websites, and it kept starting it, in the middle of the video.
Oh
Oh, so they
no.
clicked the wrong thing.
Yeah, they fixed it.
That's
Sorry,
good.
Janet.
Can you go back and show how you started that process? Because you use
Yeah.
Masquerade, right?
Yes.
Mask or something?
Yeah, as far as me logging into Milo, I
Oh, that was your
first
login.
yeah, I first because I'm an admin, I do have to masquerade so it shows up as a webmaster's
Okay.
screen.
I thought you had done something weird to get to the place where you got your
Oh,
YouTube,
I
and I was like,
see.
I don't remember doing that.
I see. The way to get there either just by manage files or through let's see, I'm blanking, administer league site menu. That's the word to get to manage files. That
Yeah,
was just the screen I was at.
we did an article about a forum that we had done, and we had the YouTube. So we had this young woman working on it, and I don't know how she did it, but I know how to do the URL, and so you click it, but she did it so that it actually showed up with the the thing to start it with. I don't know how she did that.
Within the why don't we go through that? So it's kind of the same idea that I just did right now, but let's show it in a page. I'm just going to use our homepage of the Demo County League, and I can upload a YouTube video. I'll use a brand new one so that it won't already be in the media library. Here we go. Something relevant at least. Okay. Let's have that show up at the very bottom here. So I first click my cursor into the box because I want to specify where the video is going to drop into.
And you could actually put it above if you wanted to. You could put it anywhere on that page.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, regardless of any other links being there. And let's actually throw it up a little higher. There we go. And using the media browser icon, the last little icon on your toolbar, it's again the web tab that we'll use. And I already copied the YouTube URL from the top. So I paste that in, and just to jump back to the YouTube screen, it is just the address bar when you're viewing the video. That's all you need, nothing special. And once I click next, the YouTube video name is filled in there.
Oh.
We can add a description. I'm not sure what this was. Oh yeah, voter information. Okay. And then with the YouTube videos, the only item that's required is the name. So everything else is really just more information for the person who might be looking for it afterwards. So the more you provide, the better it is for anybody who might look for it in the future. Yeah, I'm just gonna.
Those are kind of set, right? I mean, like we had this special thing just going on in Illinois this month, fair tax. There's nothing in there like that, right? You can't add something, can you?
Right, they are fixed. You cannot add to the related issues. They're based, this list of related issues is based on the National League's policies and positions, and then also the California League's positions.
So if we wanted to have other members of in Illinois to be able to find it, we put it up on the title. We name it fair tax and then something after that, way after the name.
That's right. Yeah, the name or the file description. Those are the two places where when I am going to search for this afterwards, I can type in to these two places to specify or narrow down my search. Good question. Yeah, okay, so for this, I'll go ahead and save that now. We'll leave the display as default, and once you submit, it's going to look like an image on this side of it. Once we save it, that's when it'll look like a YouTube video should, with the play button and all. But right here in the editing side, editing form, it's just going to look static. With this, you are also not able to center the YouTube video. That's the difference between uploading it and alternatively, let's actually, well, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around a bit. The embed code option allows you to center or right justify. It allows a little bit more formatting, but that's because the third-party embed code would be done through the HTML side. Would you like to see both the third-party embed code like against this easy process that we just did here?
I'm interested in seeing, if you did it with the embed code, would you be able to place it anywhere you want it on the page, or would it always be at the bottom?
You would still be able to place it anywhere. So let me copy the embed code, and then we'll throw it in a notepad just so that we can see what it looks like.
How did you do that?
So I right-clicked on the video, and it can be playing or paused, just anywhere over the video player. Right-click over that and copy embed code.
If you're on a Mac, it's going to be a little different.
Is it still right-clicking on the video?
I don't ever right click, so that doesn't mean
Okay.
anything to me.
Yeah, I'm not. I always, and that's terrible of me. I always forget the differences for Mac users, and I'm not entirely sure how.
I think I hold down an option key or some key till I get a contextual menu.
I see. Okay, that makes total sense.
I'm not totally sure what I do. I just fool around, and eventually I get it.
And you may, even if you are a Mac user and you're having trouble finding the embed code, even try Googling create embed code or something like that, and you may be able to find an online service that just by plugging that YouTube URL in, you might be able to generate an embed code that way. But definitely if you're in that situation where you're a Mac user and you're having trouble finding out how to embed it, definitely think about the option that we just did of using the media browser instead. So back to Barb's question, if you are working with embed code and you wanted to add it to anywhere on the page, let's say I want to add it to the very top of this body box here. Or actually, to make it a little trickier, we'll just add it right to the top here. The difference between using the media browser, the button that we just used, and using the third-party embed code is the text editor. So for the third-party embed code, we must use full HTML. And that's where we get all of it in one string with all the formatting written out. It's easy to drop in embed code at the very beginning or at the very end in these text boxes. But I'm going to switch back. If you want to add, quick side note, if this ever happens to you, you can click disable rich text and enable rich text. And that will pop the display back up. But just to recap a bit on what I was just saying. So if you are dropping it in at the beginning or the end, it's easy because you can see very easily very simply where the beginning and the end of the text starts and ends. But in order to make it easier to find a spot in the middle of your text, what I personally do is type in like a sight word, anything that's just not going to be anywhere else. So dinosaur is usually something that we don't discuss in League of Women Voters.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, she's an old dinosaur.
Well, I would hope we're not, you know, throwing that around.
Haven't looked at the camera lately.
I'm sorry.
I said you didn't look at my camera lately.
So yeah, whatever word, and especially if it's gonna give you a laugh, even better. Use that one. Anything that you can easily find after we swap it back to full HTML. So I have my word in there. I swap that to full HTML, and then to find it, I got to use my keyboard. For Windows users, we have Control F, and then Mac is it the Options button, and then F as well.
Command F.
Command, yes, thank you. And that will bring up the way to search for the word.
There it is. Oh, goodness.
And so now I can replace that entire word with what I have copied to my clipboard. And that is my embed code.
Wow.
It's difficult to see here because we have it in full HTML, but I'll go ahead and save it. We're going to have 2 YouTube videos stacked on top of each other, but just so that we can check out what that looks like.
So Amaris,
Mhm.
to get that dinosaur to highlight in orange, did you just start typing dinosaur? Or you said Control F, started typing dinosaur?
That's right. I hit Control F is the key, and then I started typing dinosaur. So
but here
this is, yeah, this is obviously larger than I was expecting. This is something that we can resolve with, this is a tool that I can throw into the chat here, embedresponsively.com. This is a site that helps if the video or the image, usually an embed code, is popping up either too large or too small. This is kind of like Goldilocks. It gets it just right. It is going to make it gives the embed code additional parameters to say if the container is larger, blow it up. If the container is smaller, then shrink it down, rather than the embed code remaining a static size.
So you just paste the embed code in that box?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I still have the embed code on my clipboard. So coming over to embed responsively, I am just going to replace or jump over to generic iframe and replace what's there with what I have. Oh, I don't have it attached to my clipboard. Okay. And so once I toss my iframe, my embed code in there, at the bottom is where I get my new version of that.
Where did you change the size of it?
So it does it for me. The biggest or the parameter that tells us what will control the kind of shrinking and expanding of it depending on the container size is the padding bottom and the max width, because they're set in percentages.
It just decides what size you want it to be, though?
It
How did
doesn't,
you tell
it
how
doesn't
much?
decide. It is doing it based on the container. So
The frame that you're putting it in.
Exactly.
Whatever the size the frame is, it says, oh, whoops, this is a big frame. I better make it bigger. It's a little frame. I better make it smaller.
Mm-hmm.
It knows the frame, and you've told it to 56% of the frame. This thing has told it
Where
that.
did you tell it that?
It did it.
It is embedresponsively.com that is telling it to do so, to resize when the container size changes. So just by clicking embed, after I plugged that in, by clicking embed, that is what created the responsive version of it that will change when the container itself changes. We can show how this works in different parts of the page, just to show how it will change with the size. We'll first throw this into replace here, and then we can also try out the sidebar because this is a different container size than the body. So plugging in the embed code is definitely easier than needing to replace it.
Oh,
So I
now
don't,
you kinda have
yeah,
to
I don't
figure out.
envy, I don't envy anybody that needs to do this. But I can say that, again, Control F or Command F is probably your best friend when you're using HTML. The embed code here, I have only one iframe, and I know that I only have one iframe, so I can use that as a word to search for. And one thing to know about HTML, the tags are always going to have an ending pair. So
You could also just change the width and height yourself, you know, because if you know you want it half the size, you just say 640 by, you know, 3 whatever.
But that
right?
won't shift for any smaller devices. This would remain a static width and static height. And so it isn't the best for anybody on a mobile device because it might look better for a desktop viewer, but mobile device will still be rather large if we leave it as a static
So it takes
width and
away
height.
that whole, well, I pasted it in. Let's see what it looks like.
Okay. Let's see. So by searching the word iframe, I can see the first iframe or HTML tag, and then I can see this second one. So that helps me to know from where and where to delete and replace. And I'm also including the opening and ending carets.
And iframe is a word that indicates it's a YouTube video?
That is just one version of an embed code. It is usually like it is a moving interactive thing because it doesn't necessarily mean only YouTube.
Oh.
Like a widget could be that you're interacting with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I have that plugged in there. While we're at it, I'm also going to throw it into the sidebar content just so that we can see what embed responsively does for us. Let's just use the top one here. As usual, we're using the full HTML text editor because we have the embed code. So the idea here is that this should be a tiny little YouTube video in the sidebar.
Okay.
And I'm publishing it this time because we made a change to the sidebar. And so let's check that out. All right.
That's pretty cute.
You know
Yeah.
what? You know what? This is really interesting, but you've got my stuff on your demo County League.
Oh, I do. This is from this is from our last office hours. Why don't I remove that?
But it's interesting. But what I was going to say was you've got my October 12th one on there So it just kind of
Oh,
came
it,
over automatically.
so yes, we had left your, do you remember we were messing with the script?
And I have a question about that too. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we were messing with the script and I do still have it here. So that is why because before it was just empty and now it's growing and growing. Yeah, that's awesome. Did you want me to
So,
leave it so that we could
well,
talk
I
about
actually have a
that?
question about that, but I was wondering to go along with this YouTube, if you could go to my page, because I am going to ask you to look at something and just look at what we have and see if you can figure out how she did it, because I'm sure, you know, she didn't do any of this stuff.
As far as getting a YouTube video up?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, why don't we let's
Can I just
do
point-
that in a couple of minutes. We'll
Sure,
jump over to your site for sure. Yeah.
Okay,
I was going to say that for me, when I want to embed, because you have that field that where it has embed code, I usually make a standard WYSIWYG, then I make the embed code as a separate field, and then I go back and make the rest of it in a standard WYSIWYG. So I bracket the embed code with, because you have that thing that you call for that you use for embed code. You know, you
That's
have
right.
your
The add third party with embed code buttons.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oop. So you could, so I always just bracket whatever I want in embed code, so it sits there without this going back and forth between WYSIWYG and embed code
Yeah.
in the same field or whatever you call that. What that
Within this same
yeah.
editing form.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It is that is makes it easier and also it's just a matter of preference too. I think Barb, you were mentioning or asking about how to be able to throw up the embed code anywhere into the box.
Well, I do it. I just break the two things.
Yeah, and so you're saying
I end
like
before.
if we had just this in the homepage main body content and then this video would sit by itself in a box down here.
Yeah, and then I revert back to another box with standard.
Adding one down here.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And breaking it up in different chunks
yeah.
rather than having all of your content here in one box. You could have just the beginning there and then we'd use an embed code box here. And let's see if we can actually recreate that.
It just seemed, I guess partly I didn't realize I could shove it in the main body. I thought I had to have it in that, the ones that are called bodies with embed code.
I see. Yeah, it is, you have an either or. It is in the documentation, the way that we have it, we describe it as that the easiest ones to use for embed code are the ones that you would add specifically here. But if you're ever feeling adventurous, you can always swap. It is, it definitely does feel like an adventure when you get to the other side, seeing the full HTML side. But it is, it's a good option to have, especially when you want to have the image or widget or video showing right at the top of your page.
You have no ability to put an embed code block above that. So
right. So then at that point, you default to using the full HTML. And the other benefit of using these boxes down below, whether you use the add third-party embed code or the add additional formatted text, are the grabby handles. So that I can swap this around so that my YouTube video, once I put the embed code, whoops, is that, there we go. Okay. My page was taking a bit to load there. But we can rearrange that and at any time. Those grabby handles will always be there. So you can rearrange it in the future too. I am just doing random rearranging now just to show how you can make use of these boxes at the bottom as well. Let's go ahead and save that. We'll save that in a draft. Again, to stress the difference between draft or published, when I'm working in the home page, I this time only made changes to the body, and that includes the body with embed code section. So I left this in a draft mode. And
Did you say on some other pages we have to use published in order to see it? Did I hear you say that once?
There, for every page, even the home page, there are certain changes that you make that would require it to be published. Not just the page, like the page type that it is, but like, for example, on a regular page like the donate page, if we made a change to the image fields, and if we added a main image or an alternate hero image, that would require a publish change so that we could see it on the other side. Just to show what it would look like if we don't publish. So I'll add a main image to the page. All right, I have that loaded up, and we'll save that in draft. So I made just that change, and it doesn't show up for me because it is in draft. As soon as I publish that, we'll see it pop up.
And if you don't do anything else, that's done? That's
from
what
this
I worry
point, yeah, from this point, it is
See,
done.
I'd rather like see what it looks like and then say, okay, I like it, you know, publish it, but I like that. It's really a draft, and then click save. But that's what confuses me.
And that's last time I was on one of these, we talked about the sidebar. You can't do that. You got to save it.
That's
So
right. Yeah, that's another one that does need to
got to say. So that gets frustrating as a new user, because you're thinking, oh, why isn't it taking? Why isn't it taking? And then you realize or find out from one of these things that it's because it's in the sidebar, and that's why it didn't take. It's not, it did take, but now you have 5 of them out there because you keep putting them out there. I can attest to that as a new user.
The good thing, the good thing is that any different multiple changes you have done will just knock out the last one. So luckily you won't have a stack of changes being revealed to your visitors. But yeah,
this is definitely a support group. We, you know, all our frustrations.
But it's definitely a worth note making or a note worth making to our tech team about, if any, what could be done about the moderation, the way that is done. I'm not sure if we have any flexibility to allow for these changes to be visible in draft mode, but I'll check out to see if they know of it being possible. And then did we have any other questions about, let's see, we were on the embedding of videos or anything about the embed responsively tool before we jump over to Mary Jo's site?
Not me.
Okay. All right, so not hearing anything. Let's go ahead and it's Michigan, right, Mary Jo? There it is.
Well, our address is LWVDDH. Oh, you got it.
Yeah, it I forget that auto complete is a thing. Okay, so what would you like me to check
Well,
out?
I was gonna show you two things so that I didn't expect the titles of our archives to be on the front page. So is that something we did wrong?
It is not something you did wrong. I think it's just the way that the
Because this is what they told me at Constant Contact.
mhm.
Archive code is also, well, I know that's also on the homepage. What did they say?
It was also on your newsletter page, correct?
Yeah, but they used a phrase and I guess oh darn it. Anyway, the embed code is also on the front page, but
Mhm.
I wasn't expecting that. And I thought, oh, you know, maybe I'll leave it during election time because, you know, there is good stuff in there. But after election, I don't think I want them on there. So
did you want to just know about how to get rid of it once you are ready?
Well, yeah, if it's easy for me to understand.
Yeah, it should be. I think let's get into it to see how it was added. And I'm sorry here. I will need to, let's see if I can use this browser. I'm gonna masquerade as you, Mary Jo. Okay, because we'll check out the way that it was added into the sidebar content. So I'm making a new draft of the homepage. And down under sidebar content, we know that this is in there somewhere. We'll first look at what is in the sidebar content like box that's there originally. If this box is ever tiny like that, where you're not able to expand it, you can use the disable rich text link and then click enable rich text. That expands the text box. That's really just for convenience if you needed to see the box a bit wider. Okay, so the the Amazon Smile box is the last thing there. So that tells me this box is the code that is displaying this here, the list. So
Just remove it?
Yeah, once you're ready, you'll click remove, and then after that, there'll be a confirm deletion button. And then make sure to publish your change afterwards here down at the bottom.
But I'll be okay on my regular newsletter page, obviously.
Yeah, because this same information is still listed there. And why don't we jump over there? Because you had mentioned you wanted to add a title.
Yeah, that would be great.
Correct?
Yeah. Thank you.
So this is the same idea. The embed code that we saw in the sidebar is the same that is showing up here, and that is by way of a script, kind of similar to an iframe, but more dynamic. And that was provided by Constant Contact, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
They must not have included a graphic, I guess, because you thought sometimes they included a graphic.
Yeah, I have seen before where it looks like the archived page where it has your lead's title at the top. But in any case, you definitely can provide your own. So I started a new draft of the page that the list was on, and I'm just trying to locate the list first because I want to be able to type up above it. Rather than swapping the HTML box that it is in, I'm just going to use the box right above it because the display for the visitor, or after we save this, will still show the title with the list right below it.
So, and what would the title be? Previous issues, something like that, you mean?
Yeah, something for a tell for the reader.
Yeah.
And we'll use a heading style. This the heading style, to know which one would be best, would help to know if you are using any others above it. So if you're using heading
Oh,
style
you know what?
2, then
Should we
use heading
change it to,
style.
should we change it to previous edition then?
Oh, to match
To match.
the rest of the,
Yeah, I want it to match. Yeah. Thank you.
yeah. So if in this case, we don't have any other heading sizes that are used above it, so we have the freedom to use whatever size.
Well, when do you want it to match though? The one on
well,
top?
there is no heading size here up top. These are all paragraph style, and the heading sizes vary. And so if there was a heading size 2 or 3 up here in the body, you wouldn't want to use a heading size 2 down here going out of order. It's just like if you were writing an outline.
Okay, I trust you completely, but does it, okay. I just want them to be matching. Like, here's the current one and here's the, so are you thinking previous will be smaller maybe? The word previous issues? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, the headings are larger than paragraph. Would you like it to just be left the same size as latest edition?
Well, that's what I was thinking. No?
Or make it larger, make the top one larger. Do you want that larger or do you want that size? That's the question.
And I can also save it like this if you want to see what it looks like, just all as paragraph, all the same size.
Uh-huh.
But I do see, yeah, Barb, I see what you're saying as far as making, you could make them both a header size so that this would be larger and this could be a bit larger.
Okay, maybe I'll do that later. Thanks, Barb. Yeah.
I
Can
think I like headers. I really like to see them when I'm looking at a web page because it
Yeah, me
lets me
too.
know the page is divided.
Yeah,
But
Right.
I think I want it to be the same size as latest edition.
Right.
Yeah.
And the formatting on latest edition is a button style. So that is
Oh.
also causing some, the capitalization. It is giving that the purple, and that swaps to gold when we get or hover over that. So that does
Oh.
change the formatting too.
Uh-huh.
Can she change that to heading inside the button? That
It
allow
may, the heading, I think that the button supersedes and just takes over and doesn't display
allow
the
the
heading. That's right. We can test it out. I actually haven't tried heading with a button. Yeah, it doesn't, it does take the formatting, but it doesn't display it.
which I watched one of your videos about people who have trouble visually impairment or whatever that use certain readers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that the heading, having something that designated as a heading might help them find what they're looking for if it's heading instead of
Oh.
paragraph.
Yeah.
So even if it's not a different size, it might help somebody using that tool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it organizes the page for screen reader users for sure. And that's very beneficial.
is there any way to change the color of text? Sometimes I want something to have a color.
With the WYSIWYG toolbar, there unfortunately is not. That would have to be an HTML change.
Are there any things in this CSS that we could take advantage of, but we don't know how to take advantage of?
I'm not sure what you're referring to, like the whatever the tools are in the WYSIWYG are all that are at your disposal other than HTML tags, like typing those in yourself.
How did you get the slightly shaded background and that definition of a box there?
Is it this one here,
No,
latest?
The one that's slightly, yeah, you can sign up. How do you make a box there like that?
I'm not sure which
It's a
one.
button. It's a button instead of a text.
Exact. Okay.
No,
It's a
no.
short-
If you, the one that's like got slightly pink color, you can sign up to receive our newsletter directly to your mailbox. How did you make that a box?
It's a notice.
To receive.
It's a notice.
Then you
Yeah.
format that text to be
A notice.
Button.
Oh, this one. I'm sorry. Wow. I was not understand or seeing the text. Yeah, that is the notice format or the notice style.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And I've seen it before. If you ever have trouble where you're adding the notice and it for some reason is kind of chopping it up, it may not be on separate lines, but I've seen it before where it's two sentences and for some reason two sentences on the same line and they could be in separate notice boxes. It is definitely not what you're looking for. So I would recommend if that ever happens and it's a little difficult. Let's see
I
if
like the one you just
recreate
had
it.
up there.
The notice box.
Well, it was more direct. It said sign up. I don't know how you had it. You had a second one there for some reason. Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to recreate the issue that I was referring to. This is the dual box notice that comes up sometimes. If that ever happens, just use the remove formatting. Using it a couple times won't hurt, just to make sure that the it's all reset, that the formatting is reset, and then you can reapply the notice.
So if I wanted to later on fool around and just get rid of that first sentence,
Mhm.
well, oh wait, that second sentence explains the first one. Never mind. Okay, but somehow I'd figure out how to edit that, I guess.
Yeah, if it's just
If I
the
want
text
to.
that you're editing, it's just a matter of
Yeah.
replacing it.
Okay.
I guess what I was trying to say was,
Mhm.
you know, when you're working with CSS, you can use different styles, and you can see when you look at the HTML some examples of styles, but we don't really know the underlying CSS that's being used so that we can have the page looking as it is. So defining how an H3 looks or an H2 looks. So in order to do the HTML and change the color of some text, you might be able to take advantage if you just knew what the styles were for the CSS that's underlying this page.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have it just readily available. I am not too well versed in it myself, so I am not usually asking the tech team for it. But if it is something that you could use, we definitely can get that information for you. But I can say that there's another league webmaster who had wanted to use different colors in her font and made use of just general HTML tags for changing the color. I don't think that she had to do anything very different to be able to make use of those colors.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to jump out of here. Any?
Oh, well, how does it look now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we didn't make any changes.
No. I guess I did not save that. Let's do that.
But the bottom,
change.
yeah. I did want them to try to look the same, but are you saying that I can't do a button anymore? Because
You can. It's the only thing I would say is
a button. Why would you want a button?
Yeah, there's nothing that's being clicked on, and so it might be a little confusing
Oh,
to the
I
user.
see what you're saying. I understand. I just was looking at the looks.
I see. Yeah.
You're right though, Liz. Yeah.
But this one makes sense because
it's linkable, obviously.
Let's
well, as long as it's
what you think about heading style 3. And I'm going to get rid of some of these extra spaces. And let's check that out.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Because it matches newsletter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fine.
Looks like newsletter is bigger.
Newsletter
a little
is
bigger,
bigger.
yeah,
It
And
is
that makes
heading
sense.
1.
but that's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just real quick, if you would go over to our front page, or no,
To look at the sidebar.
no, to look, no, you'll see what I mean when we get there. Just so go down. So our first article. So if you click that, and she actually fixed it so that if you click that candidate forum button or thing, I think
This
it
one?
brings, no, to the left, down further and to the left. No, within that box, there's a Word document that says candidate forum to the left of on October 5th. Yeah, I think if
This
you
is just the
click-
image.
well, but I think she made it clickable. I could be wrong.
Well, the system makes it clickable by
Oh,
default.
okay, all right. Well, go to read more. Well, okay, because I thought it brought you right to the YouTube, but maybe not. But go to
Yeah.
read more and you'll see what she did.
The destination for the read more and the title and the image are all the same. So it's just leading you to the content.
But so how did she get that? So go down a little bit. How did she get that to act? See there? How did she do that? I can't imagine she did it so complicated like you were talking about. I'm just curious.
Well, there are 2 different ways. She could have uploaded it to the media library, and that's the easier way.
I know she didn't do that. So
Um,
I don't know. I'll have to ask her because she never even used it before. And she's, oh, let's do that. No.
she embedded it with the iframe, with the
Okay.
embed code.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm not going to ask you to go into it, but where in the documentation is the thing about the Google Analytics? Somebody asked me about that.
Oh yeah, good question. It is, let's jump over to there. There's a quick way to it from the documentations or
Oh, it's right
documentation
there.
menu.
So it's a main issue. Okay, thank you.
Did you do that yet? Mary Jo?
No.
That was really
Your
easy.
reaction.
It took me like 15 minutes. I couldn't
Awesome.
believe it. I got that long word, Google Analytics, like, I can't do that. I can't do that. And then I just followed their little instructions on there and it just took
Okay.
me like 15 minutes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That's great to know because I was scared.
The key is before you start anything, make sure you're logged into your Gmail account that you want to attach to. Make
Okay.
certain you're there and then start following their little instructions.
Yeah. Okay. And
And it really is literally copy. You have to answer a couple of questions, but it's really literally copying what it produces and putting it onto your website. It's just like a copy paste thing. And then all of a sudden it starts counting people who are on your website.
oh, that'll be so fun. But I do remember, Amaris, when we first started talking months ago, something about how you can get your league. So if somebody types in, League of Women Voters, Dearborn Heights, that'll come to the top, because there was I remember there was a ticket from another Michigan league saying that theirs wasn't coming to the top. And you said, oh, that shouldn't be that way.
It was that the issue there was that they weren't seeing their site on Google at all. And I am having a hard time recalling how we resolved that. I know it had something to do with requesting Google to recrawl their site.
Is that what we're asking to do in Google Analytics?
No, it is.
I didn't think so. Okay.
Yeah.
So is it something we have to do if we want it to come up first, or is that something that automatically happens with the way Milo works?
You should already be on Google as a search within the search. If you have any trouble where you aren't seeing any Google Analytics results, then yes, it could be that you aren't being tracked on Google. But most of you are already Milo customers for a while. You should hopefully already have a good cache of Google data for your sites.
But I mean, if somebody goes on their phone and they go into Safari and they type, League of Women Voters, Dearborn Heights, what I'm saying is, a lot of things might show up, including real old stuff, but hopefully ours will be the first one they see.
It should.
And I thought there was something that that was inside Milo that kind of made that happen.
The search engine optimization is
Yes.
enabled. Yeah, that does
Yep,
help.
okay, thank you.
It does help to float the result.
Okay.
I won't be able to say that it makes it the first one, because the National League, let's see, let's just search.
Are you saying, that you have to, as the user, have the search engine optimization
No,
enabled?
No,
Are you saying
they
that
do
your
it.
Google account has to have it?
it is the Milo system that does that for us
Oh.
by default.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
know somebody was complaining to me. They said, Mary Jo, this isn't the right one because it's got this Milo thing on it. So, so I says, okay. Then I explained it. I says, I better say something to our members about that so they don't get confused.
Yeah, that is
Do
another
your
thing,
members actually look at it?
Well, this one did. What I mean is she sees, our old, I guess, address, but it says Milo on it. So she got confused and said, well, that's not ours, Why
yeah.
she
Well,
didn't continue, I don't know.
the result on Google, or really any search engine, I'm here on Bing, it does show up as the league name, and then Milo will come up after that. Let's see.
Right, right. And she just wasn't familiar with that, so I've got to
Mhm.
educate. Yeah.
Well, and you do have an option in order to edit what shows up as the title of your league. Let me come back to my, let's see, using my Google browser. I'm here logged in as, yeah. I'm going to use the demo account. And I'm sorry, I'm going to show how to edit the name, and you can edit the description. So it's through your home page, either edit or new draft. And we're going to scroll all the way down to the very bottom. And this is under meta tags. For the page title, this is what is taken from the home page, and it might be easier if I search for the site that I'm using right now. So LA or LWV, LWV demo county. Okay, that helps us. So this is the same as the node title. So that's taken by or taken from what I have here for the homepage title. Coming back down to the meta tags, the other portion, site name, is Milo. And it's the same information that we see here at the tab on the tab at the top. Node title to the left, the Demo County League, and then to the right, we have Milo. So if I change this site name, let's say, let's just make that LWV. And all I have to do is save that. I haven't actually tested this to see if it is required to be published. Okay, it's not. So if you save it as a draft, it is pushing that change on through. When it comes to seeing it on the tab, you'll see it immediately. You'll see that change immediately.
Wow.
But when it comes to the Google results, it might take some time, just because Google is not crawling sites instantly. You'll see that Milo is still a word listed there.
Do many leagues do that?
Not many. I have seen some leagues do that. Yeah, it really is. If it's a matter of preference, and like you mentioned, if members are getting confused, it's probably better to remove the word Milo if that's causing any confusion.
Okay, and how did you get to meta tags?
That is through, and it's not just the home page. So I'll show how to do it for multiple pages. It's going through either edit draft or new draft. This is specific to the home page.
Oh, it's okay.
And it's down at the very bottom.
Okay.
At the very bottom. Okay. And so it's same idea on any other type of page. Like this is a basic page as well, separate from the home page. I'm editing the draft that I have, or I'm starting a new draft. And down at the very, very bottom, I have meta tags here again.
But if people were just Googling, I mean, they're not gonna see like one page of the website. I mean, that wouldn't come up on top.
It could. It just really depends on what they're
How much
searching.
people use it. Yeah. Oh, well, if they had, yeah. Well, that's worth considering. I don't know.
Because there's a chance if a lot of people are landing on your directly to your voting page, if they're
Yeah,
just
right,
searching the right stuff.
right.
Yeah, so Google yourself, and maybe that will
Yeah,
help you know
that's
which
interesting.
pages you have to edit the meta tags for.
Well,
Do you
thank
get to do that for each page?
Like Mary Jo said, if you're only seeing your homepage coming up on results, then you probably only need to worry about your homepage, but you do have that option to do it for every single page.
But when you do it on the home page, it doesn't affect the other pages.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Huh, that's interesting.
And now that I'm taking a look at the draft of the homepage versus the published version, and it does look like we do need to publish that. I am seeing Milo on the published version, so that tells me I can quickly publish it by jumping to the moderate tab and then just apply.
Mm.
And then now when I view the published version, I should see LWV.
Huh.
And you can change that field to whatever you wanted. So let's say if I could have removed the bar and wrote instead LWV of the Demo County League and just left it at that. You can, you have the control there. It's just orientating the telling the user where they are.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Any other questions? I know we're a little bit over here, but I think we're.
I have a quick formatting question.
Yeah.
This is Lynette. I'm in Clackamas County, Oregon. Can you look at our landing page, please?
Oh, for sure.
I'm going to be going, guys. See you next
right.
time.
Bye,
Bye,
Barb.
Barb. Thanks.
Okay, the sidebar space is at a premium. Is there any way to squish the get involved and the actual at the very top there's a get involved?
Oh, I see.
Is there any way to squish the get updates and email address closer together?
Let's check that out. It might be a matter of the way the embed code is written, and those spaces might be incorporated into the embed code. If that's the case, we won't be able to. But let's see. The embed responsively tool might also be helpful in this case.
Sometimes I'd use, instead of a return between two lines, I use shift return on a Mac, and that makes it so there isn't as much distance between the two lines.
Oh, I see.
And I don't know if that works on a PC or not. Are you on a Mac or a PC?
I'm on a PC.
Oh, so I don't know what's the equivalent. But that way, because sometimes you get stuff spread out and you don't really want it that way.
Right. And getting to kind of the same idea, we do have an option, but it would remove the heading. DIV removes any padding that is around the text. So it removes the padding that would show up underneath. But that is a give and take because it makes your text the size of the paragraph rather than the size
we definitely want to call it out. We want people to give us their email address, to sign up for the email address.
Right. Let's see about We have that in WYSIWYG. I'm going to try this now. I'm going to see about putting the HTML version of what was typed in as the heading and see if we just plug it into the same text box. And I'll leave that one there for now. Can I go ahead and publish this to try, Lynette?
Sure.
Okay. Fingers crossed. I'm not sure if that will make a difference, but.
Oh, it looks tighter.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad okay, that wasn't so bad. So then shoving the text into the same box, that's good to know that it saves us. It looked like probably a half a line of space there.
Yeah,
and now
the header was floating off, and then the box, especially when you didn't have the administrator menu box there, then it kind of floated by itself. So,
yeah,
thank you.
Definitely. And I'm just going to get rid of that other text box that was above.
Thank you.
Definitely. Awesome.
And I got your response on my question regarding the calendar. And yes, I do have the ability to use the events page and have all of our events aggregate on that in that area.
Okay.
What I was looking for was Chicago had a really nice interactive calendar where somehow, and maybe they just wrote the code themselves or something, but when they create an event, it loaded into a calendar block format. And so you could quickly see, you know, a month of calendar, and then you could see which events run which days. So
okay, yeah, let's pull that up. It is the calendar CC, correct?
yes.
Let's just search for it by title. Calendar. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, so this is a Google Calendar, and let's look at it from the editing form. This is another item that they used embed code to generate or just have that display.
Okay.
Let's see. And it is an iframe source. Why don't I use my calendar as, whoops, am I not logged in? Okay, yeah, let's use my Google Calendar to generate an embed code for that. So just like with Google Analytics, just start out logged into your Google account that you want to pull this information from, because as soon as you get to Google Calendar, that's the calendar that it's bringing up.
Okay.
I have, let's see. I don't know if it's different, if you might have different calendars associated.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything set up yet.
Okay. And I'm sorry,
we just got our Google account the other day.
So are you going to have use the event, both the events part of Milo plus a Google Calendar? You're going to put them on both of them?
Yeah, the way Chicago had it set up is they had it in their navigation bar that you could view the list of events, which is the way Milo currently does it, or you could click on calendar from a drop-down box, and the calendar would display it just like this. And so you would see when the unit meetings are and when an event would be, or when a discussion would be.
So they had to add it to both calendars.
I guess they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that point they would be having to create the event in Google and in Milo.
And I think one reason people might choose to do that is it's very frustrating getting on the homepage the order of your calendar. Maybe next time we meet, we could discuss.
Oh
Maybe there are
yeah,
tricks that we aren't
there
using because
there
I agree
are.
on that.
Yeah, that is a good one to get into. There is a trick, and it does involve some moving around of different pieces. So yeah, it definitely would be a great one to get into, because it's always nice, or it's one thing to say do this, do that, but being able to see exactly what the result will be helpful there.
Or sometimes you just want to browse the calendar, like, you have a week when coming up that you're kind of like, wow, I wonder if the league is doing anything. And so you
Right.
might look at that week and see, oh, they're going to have a senator come talk that week. I think I'll go to that. So
Yeah, it definitely is beneficial to have a Google Calendar for those reasons, just to have a month view, or like you said, having it rather than a feed.
But what is the thing Lynette's using right now that you showed? I mean, I've seen that on a lot of things. Is that something you also had to put in special?
that's actually a clone of a calendar that I saw on the Chicago
Okay,
website.
you were able to clone it. Okay,
Yeah, that Amaris sent me, but of course it's just it's
Yeah.
Chicago's calendar, and so I don't need that. I need what
Yeah.
I need to know. What I need to do is create my own calendar in my
Yeah.
Google account and then embed the code for that.
yeah, okay.
can you click on that one though? Can you go to the actual events?
I think you could most.
Yeah,
There you go.
they are still like, this is a working embed code. It's just the embed code for the
So they have to
Chicago.
add all that stuff to the Google Calendar for it.
Yeah,
They aren't going back to the event. That there's not a link to the event in the Milo format.
Right,
no,
unless they provided the Milo link in the Google event that they created.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it definitely seems, or they do have to do double posting, but there won't be any automatic connection between the Google event and the Milo event unless they're providing the link.
Well,
okay.
maybe that's a feature that we would like to request.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
An add-on.
Yes, I was thinking when I was creating all these events, I was like, well, where's that handy calendar that all these fun events are going to load into? And now I know I have to create that. So
Well, but if that were a feature in Milo, it's just a matter of how you order the
Yeah, because
data is
everybody
all
does
there.
the same thing. Everybody has a calendar. I mean, has stuff to do, to
But
show.
when you do the calendar we get from Milo is the order is very confusing sometimes.
You mean on the event page,
Yeah,
the event page, yeah.
yeah. If we
yeah.
could just do it, if we could just have a way of looking at it sequentially.
It does on the front page does get to be a bit different. Would you like to just jump into it now if y'all have time? I don't know if you'd like to see the reordering of the front page, or we can
Well,
save it for the
I'd be
next time.
happy to, but are the rest of you?
Does that mean you won't do it next time?
I definitely could do it next time.
I've got something at 6:30, but yeah.
It's another month though, right? Oh, 2 weeks.
No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Mhm,
2 weeks.
mhm.
Yeah, let's
Let's put it off, and you can hone your skills and just telling
Exactly.
us about it.
Yeah, I'll make sure that by that time I have a lot of content on the demo site that we can play around with.
Now, Amaris, would that be something when you're announcing the office hours that you might say we're going to be looking at calendars so more people might look at it, or don't you want
Yeah,
to
that
structure
is a good
yourself?
idea.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Yeah, because I thought about making a mention of what we were going to talk about for this session, but I thought, well, I don't know yet. So yeah, I think it'll
But
be
if we know
helpful.
ahead of time, no, I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
gonna
it'll
say
be a
goodbye.
draw for webmasters, I think.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
All right, thanks, Mary
Thank
Jo.
you.
Is
Thank
it
you.
Hey,
possible,
thanks, Amaris.
to pick a day and time now? So for the next office hours?
Yeah, we totally can. I usually just go based off of when you know, my schedule is easiest, but usually it's not anything in particular as far as having the criteria that I use to pick a date. So is there any date or times that work
Well,
best for anybody that
Flexible. But I do get, I do like a little bit of notice because my calendar kind of crowds up, but I'm flexible the week of the 26th. So whatever's good for you.
yeah, the only day, let's shoot for Wednesday. We'll do Wednesday. And do y'all prefer morning or afternoon?
Well, I have something at 1:30, which is 11:30 for you. So maybe afternoon is
Okay.
better.
better for me too, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then why don't we do this same time? 2 p.m. has been pretty easy for me.
Great. So that's the 28th.
That is the 28th. Yeah, Wednesday the 28th at 2 p.m.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Bye
for
bye.
sure.
See you then.
All right. Bye, Mary Jo.
Thank you, Amaris.
For sure. Definitely.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Take care, Liz.
Okay, I was trying to add the thing to my calendar.
Oh, no worries. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to just cut you off.
No, thank you.
Definitely. All right. Take care.
Bye.